Joe Rogan says Harris' sit-down was scrapped after campaign told him she only wanted to do 1 hour. Rogan said he still hopes to interview Harris. Really hope we can make this happen. I'll give you the breakdown in layman's terms. Joe's a nice guy, and he's really trying to get a sit-down with Kamala Harris. But she will not go to Austin, and she will not do 3 hours. This is basically saying, I ain't doing your show, Joe. Joe says she didn't refuse. She just wanted me to go to her and only do the show for 1 hour, but the show is better served in Austin in its traditional format with the big Joe Rogan logo. Joe doesn't travel for people. So Kamala's campaign knew that they could not outright decline the show because it would look bad. So they said, okay, we'll do it in an impossible way. I don't even think Joe Rogan has a mobile podcast setup, which would have to build for this. He'd have to actually set up, buy cameras, get everything built, fly to wherever she is to make it happen. Now, here's the other interesting tidbit here. J.D. Vance has agreed to appear on Joe Rogan, and I believe this will be on Friday. This is going to be amazing. I'm really excited for this. I'd be excited to see Kamala Harris on Rogan because Trump can use all the help he can get.
I think it's hilarious that Kamala Harris said no, that she wouldn't go to Joe's podcast. And the things that I find most entertaining is the response that people are giving on X, the pro-Harris people. They're like, oh, Joe should go to her and Joe, blah, blah. Joe doesn't need to convince anybody to vote for him. He's not running. Joe has the audience that Kamala Harris needs to actually talk to. She's lagging behind with young men, and that's with men, and that's Joe's audience. If she actually is serious and actually wants to attract these voters, then she should be doing everything she possibly can to get on that show. But part of the reason why she isn't doing it, and part of the reason why she wants such a limited time, is because that format would be absolute. If history is any indicator, that format would be terrible for her.
Devastating.
She would fall apart.
And he's not the one trying to avoid the interview. Why would he avoid it? For him, it's great if she comes on.
He's trying hard to make it happen.
Yeah, it's clearly this is her pattern. She gets out of it, and I even hear it. Some of these Kamala ones. Oh, why won't he debate her again? Why won't he debate? She has this formula where she goes, "I'm willing to debate this person." But these are my terms, and if you don't agree to my unrealistic terms that you're never going to comply with, then you're the one running away from the debate. It's a great strategy, but it's clearly working because I can see so many people are convinced by it.
Did you guys see the latest clip that just came out where she sat down with WDIV4?
Yeah.
It's 30 seconds long, and this video explains why Kamala Harris will not sit down with Joe Rogan. I hope you guys are ready for this.
What's your message to Michigan voters in terms of the economy? We have auto workers who are being laid off and those who fear that they might be laid off. The average person can't afford groceries or their rent. And recent polls in Michigan show that Michigan voters believe that Donald Trump would do a better job with handling the economy and bringing jobs back. What do you say to that?
Well, let's start with this. I come from the middle class, and I'll never forget where I come from. My mother worked very hard.
Oh, you can't just say that all the time. Well, you can.
You can.
You can't. Look, I love Kamala Harris. You can't. I'm joking. You can't say that. This is old school politics where she's just a robot being controlled by the machine, and if they don't have control over every single moment of what she's doing,
I don't believe that she's a robot because modern day AI is more
Smarter.
intelligent than she is. She's like predictive text. Like she's
like those Elon things that were running around the other day, they were way better. And
like
you could actually
Grok will go ahead and give you a more comprehensive answer.
I'm sorry, guys. Dr. Spezzo. Do you remember Dr. Spezzo?
No.
This is early 90s, a DOS program. We're getting way in the weeds with this. And it was like, you would say, it talked like this, and it would give you better ansurs.
Middle class family.
It would actually, if you ask Dr. Spezzo on DOS from 1992, what do you say to the Michigan voters who fear losing their jobs? They'll be like, I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that. And that's a more legitimate answer than I come from a middle class family.
It's ridiculous. Like you can actually, now that you think about it, like if you were to go ahead and ask any of the large language models, they would all have a better answer.
Alexa would have a better answer.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey,
it's
Alexa,
true. Like,
how do we fix the Michigan economy?
It
Who
would-
would like to start?
Mind you, we laugh at this, but the Australian Prime Minister, he got in on a very similar tactic. He got in by saying everything he answered was, I was raised by a single mother.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's almost the same thing. Every question, that's what he basically answered, and he got in. So
Guys.
I don't know if you can write her off yet.
I've legit got Dr. Sbezzo pulled up from 1992.
Okay.
It says, please enter your name.
Hello, Kamala. My name is Dr. Sbezzo. I am here to help you. Say whatever is in your mind freely. Our conversation will be kept in strict confidence. Memory contents will
I'm
be
convinced.
wiped up
Smarter.
after you.
legitimately.
Tell me about your problems.
It's
Okay.
like Biden
How do we
psychiatrist.
convince Michigan voters to support me with the economy in bad shape?
What do you suggest?
I gotta be honest, that's still a better answer than I come from a middle class family.
Yeah, if she turned it around and then asked the interviewer, what do you suggest?
Here we go. I come from a middle class family.
How about asking me about mathematics instead?
I told you. You turn it around on the interview.
The middle class, 45 years ago when she was 15, I think she's 60 or something, middle class families could afford to buy a car and to buy groceries. Middle class families cannot afford that today. It's not the same term. Middle class means something different. She's got to stop saying that.
Is she currently doing a presser or something like that?
Yeah,
She's got a rally.
Okay,
She's
so
in Washington right now.
So Nandita Bose, she is a White House correspondent for Reuters. She just tweeted that Kamala Harris said, "When I am president, we will quickly remove those who arrive here unlawfully." MAGA. She's literally
Who tweeted that?
that is Nandita
Reuters.
Boss. I'm retweeting it right
Nandita?
now. Nandita. It's at Nandita. Nandita
She's saying
AB1.
mass deportations, but very polite.
Yeah.
Us?
I'm gonna put it. I'll put
Moss.
it in the Slack.
MAS deportations instead of mass.
It's wild how they've completely shifted. I was in that line today. That's the Washington D.C. rally that she's holding now, and that's our video for tomorrow. And it is crazy how the entire line is suddenly pro almost a lot of them pro having a wall, rewriting history. Like suddenly she was never really against it.
Well, the American people are about 65 to 70% pro deportation now. Not just pro having a wall or stopping illegal immigration, but pro deporting illegal immigrants, because everybody that's aware of the situation now understands that they're the people that have been coming to the United States for the past 4 years definitely really are like South American gangs and people that were in prison or in mental institutions in South America. They're getting rid of the people that are a problem for their society, and they're sending them to America.
I'm hearing it's not even just South Americans. They're coming across that border. When I was talking to people there, they were saying it's not even the Mexicans coming across. It's your Pakistanis.
So
your
yes,
Afghans.
that's a different that you're right. That's true. That's happening, but that's a different issue. So the rise in crime, like there's a significant rise in crime. There's the you've heard about the Colorado apartment buildings.
Yes, I haven't
Aurora,
stopped hearing
Colorado.
about
That's well, it's happened in Chicago, and there's multiple other places that happen in San Antonio. And this
It's
is
like
something,
an Airbnb thing now. They just love it.
really.
Taking off.
but that's the thing. The average American is aware of that, and now the average American that's a voter, they're like, I don't want this. There's no reason for the United States to be having these kind of criminal problems. If you have countries in South America emptying out their actual prisons and sending those people to America for us to deal with, we need to round them up and send them back.
It's what Castro did with the Muriel boat lift.
It's what a lot of countries do if America has open borders. And I used to be fairly soft on borders. I used to think that I had a lot of libertarian influence, and I used to think borders are, maybe it's okay for people to come here if they want to come here. But the reality of the situation, and I've hardened on it significantly, but the reality of the situation is if you don't have a border, other countries will take advantage of you. Of
course. Exactly.
So,
and then you'll lose all your libertarian values.
yeah, exactly. So the idea that you should just have open borders, which is something that the left strongly has pushed for the past 4 years, and which is really what the situation has kind of been. Now we're seeing the significant repercussions of having a rise in crime, and you have Americans now understand that this is a real problem. And so, I mean, 70% of America
But the wild
wants to
thing to me is
deport.
they're denying it. Like in that Kamala Harris line, I walked the line today talking to all of them, and the video is pretty funny because it happens to be that they're standing. I'm giving away this video, but they're standing in front of a newly erected Kamala wall. I was walking down the line going, what do you think about Kamala's wall? And they're all saying, oh, no, she's all right with a wall.
This is part of a bigger issue where she is floundering at this point, if I'm allowed to say that, but I love Kamala. She's floundering at this point. So there's this Trumpian cultural appropriation that's taking place where they're starting to assimilate. Her researchers are going, look, this is what Americans want. We have to start to take on some of his policies. And you see the hypocrisy when you look at like Defense Directive 5240.01, where it's like, he's going to turn the military on his citizens. Oh, wait, we just did that.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see the hypocrisy and how it's echoing, and they want to become more Trumpian, and it's too late. There's 7 days left. I love Kamala.
I strongly agree with that sentiment. I think that the reason that they're shifting, like, no, not that one, about the shift from the Kamala Harris in her campaign. And I think that the reason, like you said, the reason is because these are popular policies. Americans actually do want to
100%.
to deport people. And it at one point it was kind of, unpopular to even say that you wanted to worry about the border.
Sure, on paper, liberal tears would be flying all over this paper, but now everyone's like, oh, this makes sense.
Now it's like round them up.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.